And one thing that I remember helped me a lot in my spiritual awakening is being by myself, spending time alone, which is very scary for a lot of people. It's very scary. I got comfortable, or I learned to be comfortable with myself without anyone's company. I would stay by myself, and I would take out myself on dates. I would walk by myself. I would hike by myself. I would do things by myself. And when I'm at home, I would meditate by myself. I will do everything by myself. And at night time, when I sleep, I'm just by myself. But then it helps me, one, not be scared to face who I really am, to sit with myself and be okay with me, and to become more comfortable with who you really are, regardless of what it is that you're doing. Because a lot of people, they are so terrified of being by themselves. They're just very comfortable when they're with someone else. Then they feel very comfortable, you know? So be careful. Be careful, because that's a trap. Because at the end of the day, the only person that's out there for you is yourself. You have to remember that. Only yourself is there for you. No one else is there for you. So I would say solitude was a tool that I used to help me with my first spiritual awakening, because in the beginning I thought I was crazy. A lot of people couldn't relate to all the stuff I say. Friends, family, partners, all these people couldn't relate, and it was I had some hard times. It was some really tough times, and at that point in time, when you have no one around you who can relate to you, when you have no one around you who can understand you, the only person that's gonna be there for you is yourself. So learn to love yourself, learn to be best friends with yourself, learn to appreciate yourself, because when you're by yourself, that self is gonna be there for you. It's not even your family, it's not your wife, it's not your husband, it's not your boyfriend, it's not your girlfriend. No one's gonna be there for you. You are gonna be there for yourself. So solitude, learn how to be alone. Learn how to spend time alone. Maybe these times, self-isolation times for the coronavirus, which we don't have to go through that anyways, because we're creating our own abundance. We're creating our own life. So we don't have to do any self-isolation. But for you out there who have no choice but to self-isolate, and I feel for you, if you have to do that, learn to spend some time alone. Stay with yourself, be by yourself, learn to appreciate and love yourself, and learn to take care of yourself. But it's ironic, because in times like this, you find people going crazy, thinking they're gonna die just because they're not talking to their friends, or because they're not surrounded with the people they're used to. So, and that gives you strength. Solitude gives you strength too. You become very stronger. A lot of people say it's the opposite, you become weaker. No, for me, I think it makes you stronger. Solitude makes you very strong, because solitude puts you in this kind of space where nothing can affect you. Like you just stop caring about things. So when you go to the world, you can be yourself. You stop caring about what people think, or who's around you, or who's thinking this or that about you, you know?
What's the difference between loneliness and solitude?
Solitude is when you spend time by yourself. Solitude is when you're just by yourself, and then you're having fun, and you're okay. You're still happy. You're still good. Loneliness is that space where you feel like you have stress, you have anxiety, you have depression. Lonely people feel usually miserable, because when you're lonely, you think you're alone. You think you're all by yourself. you think there's no one out there for you. There's no one who cares for you. There's no one who loves you. There's no one who cares about if you're doing good or not. So when you start having those feelings, which comes from fear, then you start feeling lonely. So when you feel lonely, you start saying, oh my God, I'm lonely. No one loves me. I have no one for me. No one cares about me. It's just me. And you start feeling like miserable and depressed, and you think that you're all alone in the whole wide world. You're all by yourself and there's no one out there for you. Wrong. There's always someone out there for you. And they don't have to be humans. Now that's the key. They don't have to be humans. There's a tree. This tree is there for me. There's beautiful animals. Do you hear them? See how many beautiful sounds there's out there? They're there for me. I have nature. It's out there for me. Look at this beautiful forest. It's out there for me. But people always tend to think that when there's no humans in their lives, they feel lonely. Just go for a hike and I promise you, you won't feel lonely anymore. Just go for a hike, hear the river sound, hear the birds singing, hear the wind, hear all of these beautiful sounds as you walk, and I guarantee you, you will not feel lonely.
Do you ever feel lonely?
I used to feel very lonely because I thought no one understood me. I thought there's no one out there who understands how I think. There's no one out there who understands my way of life. When I had my first spiritual awakening and I start talking about these experiences that I go through, or the stuff I see when I meditate, or the theories I tend to believe in, or the aliens, no one believed me, and it's not even about belief. No one resonated. People don't resonate usually, or people don't relate. Especially when I was a 9-to-5er, I work in a day job, surrounded by normal people who have none of these experiences. So you feel lonely in a crowd. I used to feel lonely in a crowded place, which is even worse. So I am surrounded by people all the time, yet I felt very lonely. So I was a lonely guy in a crowded place. So yes, I used to, but I got over it. I learned to feel good by myself because I have me. I have myself, I have nature, I go out for hikes. Back then I lived in Canada. I would go out for hikes even when it's -15 and it's snowing. I would still go out for hikes. Even in thunderstorms, when it's pouring rain, I'd still go out for hikes. Why? Because nature is always out there for you. And just learn to enjoy being by myself. If I'm hungry, I go home, I do groceries, I buy some fresh vegetables and fruits, and I cook for myself an amazing meal. And I enjoy it by myself. You're not lonely. You just think you are. You just think you are because it's a system that was put in us since we were young. We were made to believe that if you don't have people around you, you're lonely. You're a loser. It's all bullshit. It's all illusions. None of that exists. You're never lonely. Since the second you were born, you were never lonely. And I'm not even talking about the spirits you don't see. Don't you think you're surrounded by spirits all the time? So tell me now that you're lonely. For you out there who can see spirits, you guys know what I'm talking about. So how can you be lonely just by judging from the things you see? What about the things you don't see? All of these entities and spirits that are surrounding you and following you all the time. They're with you, they love you. They probably love you or not. Maybe they don't love you, but... So, this is just to give you a perspective that loneliness is just an illusion. You're never lonely.